Welcome to the Growing Up Bananas podcast, where we dissect the perks and tribulations of being banana.
It's hard being yellow and I feel so white.
My name is Ethan. Erica is sitting next to me, and in many ways, I'm sitting next to her. What do we have in store today?
Today we are discussing the impacts of living away from extended family. We will be joined by a very special guest, Danielle or Dani Yo-Yo. Dani underscore yo-yo underscore o on Instagram to get an insight into her journey so far. Let's get into it.
This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Be sure to check out Podcast of the Month, Barrel Age Flicks, and HILF podcast. Links in the description.
It's quite hard. Not it's actually not quite hard. It's very hard. Yeah, my cousins are like my sisters and brothers, even though like the age gap or the age difference is very big. We always hang out together. Even my uncles and my aunts. Well, mostly my aunts. I don't really get to talk to my uncles. But with my aunts, they're like my moms as well. So if I'm not able to talk to my mom, I can open up to my aunts. They're very close to me. They know what I'm going through. With my cousins, yeah, as mentioned earlier, even though there's an age difference, like I'm 30 plus and they're 20 plus and they're early 20s, we get to hang out a lot, and our closeness is like that of my friends, their friends are all friends as well.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how close we are. So everybody knows each other.
Yeah.
And they get to be friends with other people because of the closeness that we have with each other. And that's why it's very hard living away from them. Like in the past couple of weeks, it's been hard for me. Like I've been homesick, like literally super homesick, and I've never felt so alone. Like
All
yeah.
right. I think when someone like yourself picks up and moves from a country to another country, yes, there's brothers, sisters, parents that you're going to leave, but there's the extended network as well of family that you leave behind, which is very tough.
Yes,
I'm sure.
very tough. Yeah, quite a struggle.
Yeah. It's one of those things, like I said, you don't really know you have it until it's not there, and
until
you
it's
probably
not
don't
there.
probably don't think that it's as much of a like safety blanket.
Yeah, I think that's why I don't have any regrets being that close to my extended family, because even back then, I've always appreciated the relationship that I had with them. Like that closeness is very rare. I believe
I think it is.
it is very
just
rare,
from
right?
my
Yeah.
experiences. Yeah.
And now that I don't have it anymore, and that's my safety net, as you mentioned, my comfort zone, it's very hard. Yeah. So very lonely. Like I sometimes just want to go home already, like be with them. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
very hard.
No, I'm sure. And I guess, how are you coping with it? Is it just a lot of FaceTiming, a lot of Skyping, things like that?
I find myself actually not really telling them that I feel alone
Yeah.
because I know that they will worry a lot. So, yeah, what happened to me was that I isolated myself further because I don't want anyone to worry about me. Like, if I can handle it on my own, then yeah.
Well, you've got us here, hopefully. Don't know if that
Aw.
helps at all, but
Thank you.
and then probably the last thing is, yeah, just for my experience on how to deal with it or how to cope with it. I'm very much like an out of mind, out of sight person. So even like my brother, who was on here a couple episodes ago, I don't really talk to him unless he's here,
Oh, okay.
which isn't great. But I just find if someone's not like in your sort of day to day, I find it very difficult to, I would say, to think of them, but for them to have an impact on me. So it's the only way I can kind of cope with it.
Yeah, that's your way of coping.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that works, yeah. As for me though, I think it's quite the same. Like I'm trying to change my mindset that they're not here anymore. I'm never always going to be close to them or
Yeah.
live near them. which is the reality for me now. So I have to cope. Like, I have to learn how to be alone and be happy alone. Like, and one person told me that I could create a new family here. So
You could,
yeah.
but it's. I don't want to be all sad, but it's never really going to be the same. You've got that
yes, it's
original
never going to
family.
be the same.
But it does open up that potential for you to start something
Yep.
of your own. And yeah, it's a very. I think there's going to be so many people who listen to this who are going through the same thing, where they've moved to another country or just moved to a different town, not having that safety blanket of the family around them, and just trying to figure a way how to cope with it. I think. But anyway, let's get on. So we've got Dani coming on. Going to learn a bit about her.
Yep.
Just a slightly different perspective, someone a bit younger, and see what she has got to say.
Alrighty, let's do it.
So we're very fortunate today to have Danielle or Dani _yo_o on Instagram join us. You may see Danielle out and about in Brisbane in the uni scene. So we're very happy to have you here today. How are you today?
Thank you. Good, thanks.
So to start off then, do you consider yourself a banana?
Yes, very much like a banana.
So we're talking a little bit off camera before. So you don't speak any Chinese at all?
I wish I could speak Chinese, but I cannot.
So how did that happen from like a parent's perspective? Did you never went to Chinese school or anything like that?
I actually did go to Chinese school, but for my parents themselves, they actually don't really speak Cantonese either. They speak English better. So at home, we would use it a little bit, but it's not very much like the actual formal use of Cantonese. So
Just like words and foods and
Yeah.
things like that.
you just like come eat dinner or like or go shower. Just like those basic home necessities, but nothing like a full conversation.
Okay. So tell us then a little about your ethnic background. So Chinese on both sides.
Yeah, Chinese both on mum and dad's side. They were born in Papua New Guinea, so that's probably why they couldn't speak Cantonese too well. But just Chinese, but not too much mainland Chinese. I actually don't know where my parents are from.
Okay. Somewhere in China.
Yeah, pretty much.
So then let's talk a little about your childhood. So siblings, do you have any?
I have two older siblings, a sister and a brother. The age gap between me and my brother is like quite big. He's, I think, 33.
Okay.
I'm 20, and then my sister is 20.
Huge age.
That's a massive
Yeah.
gap.
Could be your uncle already.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think my sister's 23. I think.
So then what's the relationship like? Is it more like they're uncles or is it just brother and sister? Because that age gap is pretty large.
Yeah, with my brother, I feel like he wasn't really around, or like when I was growing up and really wanted to be like family orientated, he was kind of in his teenage years where he was like, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
So me and my brother aren't that close, but and he moved to Sydney now actually. So sometimes when I go to Sydney though, I do like catch up with him, have like a brunch, because we went to a rave together recently. So
Right. How's that?
it was actually good. I think that's like the most I've spent with my brother in a day.
You think the relationship developed as you grow older?
Yeah, I think we just like got more mature about it. We were like, okay, like yeah, we're brother and sister. We should be hanging out together a little bit more. And I'm like getting to be friends with his girlfriend as well. So I think just these aspects kind of made us go closer together.
Yeah, as Erica said, I think as you get older, the age gap definitely grows smaller.
Yeah.
I think if an 18-year-old definitely doesn't want to be hanging out with a
Yeah.
7 or 8-year-old.
That's true. Yeah. I wouldn't want to.
Yeah, no, when I was younger, he was like, oh, you think you're trying to be cool and like stuff like that. So he was like in that stage of his life
Yeah.
that I wasn't ready for.
Have you ever joked about with your parents that you were like not a mistake, but you were unplanned?
Actually was unplanned.
Okay.
Yeah, I think after my brother, they tried to have another kid, and that happened for a while. Like obviously with the age gap, it wasn't successful. And after they had my sister, they were like, okay, yeah, we're done. We have 2 kids. And then I came. So
10 years later.
yeah.
So Erica spoke about it when she was on the podcast, how her parents were pretty lenient. They didn't really put a lot of pressure on her. They were more kind of like friends to her.
Yes.
What's your relationship like with your parents?
I'm actually not that close to my parents. I think, yeah, with that age gap, they kind of cared a lot more with my brother and sister growing up, especially throughout high school, because obviously they like care about the grades and all of that. And then as my sister graduated, I was pretty much beginning high school, or like midway, and they were like, oh yeah, our kids are like growing up already. So they stopped, I wouldn't say stopped caring, but they cared less, especially for school.
Did it matter to you that they cared less?
I don't think it really mattered. I think there were some good things that actually came out of it. I find that I am more independent than my sister. Me and my brother are more similar in personalities. I don't know what it was like growing up for him, but because they stopped caring, I kind of just like did my own thing, and they were a lot less strict with me as well. So I just went out and about.
Yeah, so me being the youngest child as well, I can definitely attest to that, where mum and dad were pretty full on with the first two. So my
Yeah.
2 older brothers, and then they definitely took the pedal off a little bit with me. Whether that was because I'm so mature and responsible, probably not, but definitely the youngest child, I think, gets the, I suppose, it's a bit easier for them.
Yeah.
And then given your age gap as well, I think there's quite a few things there. Yeah, so like you said then, so they're not really that strict. You're not too close with them. Growing up then, take us through, so you're from Brisbane
Yeah.
your whole life. How was, I guess, primary school start off there for you? Did you go to a predominantly white school, or where did you go to school?
It's actually the opposite. I went to McGregor. So
Oh, really?
there was a lot of Asians there, which is something interesting actually. I thought I was half white and half Asian because I wasn't as Asian as the other kids. Because, I mean, they're just Asian. They could speak other, like, their native language as well. And I was like, wait, I can't speak Chinese. Oh, I'm white. I don't know. That was just my logic back then. It was really not right.
So did you gravitate towards the whiter folk at that age then?
I actually stayed with a lot of Asians because I guess with our cultures, we do inherently kind of mix better together. But I just thought I wasn't as Asian. So then that's why I kind of had that chain of thought. I kind of mixed up like the ethnicity with nationality pretty much.
Yeah. I think there's always a blur
That's
there.
fair.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's interesting that you felt that you were half white.
Yeah,
and
my
half
friends would
Asian.
always be confused. They were like, wait, your parents are both Asian. I'm like, yeah, but I can't speak Chinese. And they're like,
Is that what made you feel half white? Because you can't speak
Yeah.
your native language. Yeah, your other native language, I
Yeah.
guess. Sorry. Yeah. Mhm.
pretty much.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. So as I said at the start, never learned Chinese. So I went to predominantly white schools my whole life, and I never felt that I was Asian. So I always tried to be as white as I could. And then looking back now through the podcast and in hindsight, it's been a good chance for me to reflect and see, okay, well, how has that actually affected me now? And it has in certain ways, like social situations and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see where it leads you down the track. So, Dani, you spoke about how you went to Chinese school. You didn't take enough of it because obviously now you can't speak Chinese.
Yeah, no, it was pretty wild.
How do you reflect on that time? Is there anything interesting you remember, or any memories of that?
Well, Chinese school, firstly, I feel like it kind of put me off learning Chinese. If anything, I just found it as another hangout spot, just to play with the other kids. I was pretty young as well, but I got kept down from Chinese school actually. So that day specifically was pretty tragic. We had like a break. I was trying to slide down one of the playground slides, and I got dirt in my mouth because I guess my mouth was open at the end of the slide. So I went back to class after breaks finished. I was crying, and then they told me that I got kept down, and they thought I was crying because I got kept down, but I actually had dirt in my mouth.
Jeez. So how old were you at this time?
Oh, maybe like 9, 10.
And this Chinese school, is this like the weekend Chinese school? So like on a Saturday or a Sunday?
Yeah, it was on a Saturday. It's actually one of those Chinese schools where they taught you like English, maths, science as well.
Oh, right. So and this is in addition to like normal school.
Yeah, it was the same person that would teach. Like, she was just Chinese. She would have like the group tutor with like other Asian kids as well.
Oh, right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good thing you mentioned, because I have no idea what you do in Chinese school aside from like the normal school that you go to. So okay,
It's
good
funny
to know.
'cause pretty much everyone we speak to went to Chinese school in some capacity, and everyone hates it. It's usually because it's on the weekend, which is the last thing you want to do is do more school.
Oh,
And probably similar to you. It's like when I did it, we did it on the weekend, and just absolutely hated it.
Yeah, I don't think I learnt a single word from the Chinese school. I'm gonna be honest.
Did you make friends there though?
They're not people that I talk to now, but if I see them around, I think would be like, oh wait, aren't you from
And I guess mum and dad wanted you to go. They wanted to try and keep the culture going somehow.
Yeah, it's because my parents, they couldn't speak Chinese that well or well enough to teach it at least. They wanted us to learn it from someone else. So yeah, I got sent there.
And in terms of the culture, then, like you say, they kind of wanted you to stick it out and be more Chinese or trying to keep the Chinese going. How were you guys on that? Were there other things that your parents tried to keep going? Traditions, anything like that you can remember?
I don't think my parents were that big on traditions actually. We just have like the usual, if it's Christmas or Chinese New Year, we just have the big family gathering, if anything. I guess keeping the Asian culture though is more of a me thing to do. Just I would like to embrace my Asian culture a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I do find that I find interest in Asian culture.
So then let's talk about the next stage. So high school, did you go to McGregor High as well? Or?
I went to Brisbane State High.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a mix of a lot of type of people at Brisbane State High. Once again, I was kind of with the Asians still. I think I was trying to be more Asian, actually. Yeah, the Asian community, it wasn't small, but I think we stuck together, if anything.
So did you feel included, or did you feel like you were kind of like slightly on the out because of the race at any point?
No, I don't think I had any problems with that, actually. I found a lot of people, especially when you go to a school as big as State High, that there are a lot of bananas just like me. So it wasn't very hard to fit in. A lot of people, even if they could speak their native language, they were still very much a good English speaker as well.
it's totally relatable. Like even at your age and my age, so I find that I also gravitate towards Asians, no matter if they're Chinese, Filipino, Southeast Asian, or like from Japan or whatever. Still, like, yeah, you go to them even though you can't really speak well in English. Like I have coworkers who can't speak well in English. Like they do better in Chinese, but still we gravitate towards each other. So yeah, that's understandable.
So we're talking about this a few episodes ago, whether it's like a female thing, and it seems to be that women they don't gravitate, I don't want to say gravitate, but they tend to hit things off easier with other Asian women.
That's true.
What do you think it is? So I don't want to throw my wife under the bus, but she was just saying that for one, she feels that she gets on better with guys for whatever reason. And then
I think I'm the same.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is for you?
I don't think it's a race thing when it comes to that kind of scenario. Oh, I don't want to be a pick me, but I think guys are more chill.
Yeah.
I agree.
Think so?
Agree.
Yeah. I guess it depends what kind of girl you are, right? If you're into certain things, which isn't a problem, like
Exactly.
sometimes labeled as superficial things, then you don't want to spend your time around those sort of people. I don't know. Is that?
I do have like lots of guy best friends as well. So like what Dani mentioned, they're more chill and they're more receptive to listening than saying what they want you to do. But I do have a lot of girlfriends as well. So it's a good mix. Like, it's nice to be best friends with guys. It's nice to be best friends with girls because you get both sides, the best of both worlds. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, I totally agree with that. I do have like a mix of like girl and guy friends, but I find that if like most of my girlfriends are like within a group, and then my guy friends are like I find them individually. Well, I don't go off and find them, but I find that when I talk to a guy, they're a lot more logical, which is I feel like something that I lack. So they could add a lot of good advice to my life.
That's true.
Potentially, they're not judging you for what you're wearing or how your makeup is that day. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Maybe that's what girls do.
I don't think girls nowadays, at least, care that much about it. But there is the thing where, because I don't really like wear makeup, or I don't really like dress up for things, or like go to fancy dinners, I don't find that I can't fit in. But it's just there's less to talk about, kind of thing.
Yeah. I think that's exactly where Alex is in that situation, except she loves him stuff. Anyway, so because you're from your family's from PNG, do you guys have much extended family in Australia or in Brisbane?
I think it's both. I'm not quite too sure. I'm more closer to my mom's side of family. I know a lot of them are in Brisbane, and then my dad's side of the family is either in Sydney or PNG.
So do you just hang out with the family quite a lot still?
As well, my mom, she actually has a lot of siblings. There's like 8 of them.
Yeah.
So they all had their kids, and then they're my cousins. A lot of them are a lot older, like my brother's age.
Right.
So there's just a small group of cousins which are my age. There's 3 other ones, and we just made a little group of that. And usually we would only see each other at like family gatherings or some Chinese tradition where we just go to each other's house, eat dinner. But nowadays we actually like go eat yum cha like every once in a while. Just
That's great.
to be closer to family.
Yeah. Yeah, because Eric and I, we both weren't able to grow up around a large extended family. I mean, Erica did, but since she's moved to Australia, obviously she doesn't have that. So it's interesting to, I guess, reflect and think about what it would be like to have large family around. And similar to you, so my mom is one of 9 as well, and the youngest by far of 9. So my cousins, I've got some cousins in their 50s, like first cousins. I think my closest cousin, unfortunately, he's passed away now, but he would have been 6 years older than me, maybe. And that was my closest cousin. Otherwise, everyone else is
Truly
in their
large
40s
families. Yeah.
and 50s.
My mom is the eldest of 6, so yeah, pretty much. Lots of cousins too.
Do you think people can still do large families these days?
I would say no, in my opinion. Like, I'd rather have 1 or 2 only.
Yeah, that's the same.
Yeah.
Marriage nowadays is a lot later, so I feel like having kids at a later stage is just too tiring for a lot of people.
That's so true. I read a couple of days ago or weeks ago that the divorce rate now is getting lower. It's because no one's getting married anymore. Interesting, right? Yeah, no one wants to get married anymore, so the divorce rates are lower.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, like, just a lot of, I guess, contemporaries. Yep, a lot of people are getting married way later, and then they might have their first kids in their 30s. There's no way you're having 6 or 7 kids at that age.
No way.
And then I guess because we're all from large families, just imagine the poor mum, like, having 8 kids. You're pregnant for like
Almost
7,
every
8
year.
years. Not to mention everything that comes after that. So, yeah.
Too
interesting
tiring.
times.
Yeah.
No, I'm scared to have one. I mean, I do want kids, but the whole labor thing kind of scares me. Not
And
gonna
it
lie.
could change for you because you're only 20 now. So it might change in the next couple of years for you if you really want to have one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna think about that yet.
Yeah.
You're 20. You got
Yeah.
a bit of time up
Yes.
your sleeve.
So much time.
And then probably the last thing on family from my side is, do you get to go back to PNG and see, I suppose, your dad's side of the family often?
I've actually never been to PNG.
Okay.
I don't
right.
think that's really a place where they would like to take a holiday, or we don't have enough family to kind of make it work. I'm actually not entirely sure if we even have family there. I'm sure we do, but I don't think we're that close to like pay a visit, stay with them, and yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm sure there's a reason for that. A good reason.
Yeah.
So, how were you in school? Were you social? Were you quite studious? What were you like only a few years ago? Now that I look at it.
I'm not the studious type at all. I think I was more social. I used school as I never did my homework in school. I would always just try to talk to my friends instead of doing the homework in class. I found it more like a hangout, if anything.
Yep.
And then after school, you'd also hang out. I don't like studying.
Same, yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. I guess at that age, you don't sort of see the bigger picture, and you just want to enjoy the time. And then you look back and like, damn, that was a good time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So many memories, yeah.
So your friends now, at this age, do you tend to hang out with more Asian people?
Yes. All Asian pretty much. And I guess the white people that I do hang out with, I would consider them Asian.
What they like bubble tea and things like that, or what is it?
I think they're just, you know how Asian culture kind of has that respect in it, especially even
Yes,
with like your
yes.
friends, like older, or going to each other's house even.
Yep.
I feel like I just accept them as Asian.
And what's it like growing up now? So Erica and I, a little bit older than you. So when we were when I was in school, I can't talk for Erica. Firstly, went to a predominantly white school, but secondly, Asian culture in society was not a thing. So you didn't have any like, K-pop or dramas or anything like that. So it was definitely
yeah.
not a cool thing to be Asian in Australia. What was it like for you going through all of that only a few years ago, a different generation?
I actually think it's opposite. I was one of those kids that got into anime, and then I got into K-pop,
Yep.
and then the K-dramas, and now I'm kind of just like surface level on all of them. I feel like, with Japan and Korea, their culture is like being on a rising trend at the moment. So I wouldn't say it's cool to be Asian, but there's a lot more interest in the culture for every other race.
Yeah, totally. I'd have to ask as well, do you think your generation is like more accepting of like new stuff going on? Because back in my days, like I grew up and I studied in an all girls Catholic school. So still quite strict before, like 10 years ago. So now, do you think like you girls in your age, in your school, like you can go after your interests and not be, judged for it? Do you feel judged? Or have you ever felt judged because you love anime, because you love K-pop?
No, I feel like it's pretty chill. A lot more people now are in a similar boat. Like they also like K-pop or they also like anime. So I don't think I've ever had a situation where I was judged for any of it.
Okay.
I think that's a really good point, Erica, because I think people these days are way more open to those things. Like when we were growing up, even video games, like, oh, you play video games.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you doing with yourself? Get out and go for a run or something. Whereas
Exactly.
now, like it's just a thing everyone does.
Yeah, because you mentioned about anime, and I was like, I remember back in the days, like if you watch or you're into anime, you're a nerd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. So
Must be rough.
I was curious, like, how is it now? Yeah.
No, it's chilling.
Yeah.
That's good.
Because like a few of like my friends growing up, so we would like Pokemon and Digimon, Dragon Ball Z and things like that. And in certain groups, you'd kind of keep it on the down low. But
Yeah.
now it's everywhere, and like you say, it's cool. You just kind of go with it.
Yeah,
Everyone.
I feel like it has the aesthetic nowadays. Like when you go to Japan, they have those Pokemon cafes, Pokemon hotels, and I feel like a lot of people in my generation would be more interested to go to those kind of things.
Do you think social media plays a big role in this. Because back in our days, we didn't have that. We didn't have Instagram. We didn't have TikTok.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, social media nowadays, it's the way we kind of learn new things as well in the world. And it's not just within our country, it's like globally. So it's more of a topic to talk about even.
And how was it like growing up through like the social media age? So again, talking about my age, Facebook probably came out when I was in maybe grade 12. And that was probably the first time when people were actually using it. So we really missed all that. Take you back even further, a mobile phone, you couldn't really even get onto the internet
Yes.
till maybe 11 or grade 11 or 12. Now you've gone through the whole journey where you've got a smartphone, all that. How have you kind of navigated that?
I'm thankful for technology, bro. I can't imagine life without like Facebook because it is something that we use. Like I don't even have people's phone numbers. If I need to call them, I call them on Facebook.
Yeah, okay.
I've got people like Marcus where he's just like, don't message me, don't text me, send me a message on Facebook. I'm like, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Which seems to be the normal thing these days.
Yeah. No, I feel like I am kind of having the same situation as you guys with Facebook though. I was recently doing a group assignment in uni and we had to like talk to each other, right? It's a group assignment. I was like, oh, should we make a Facebook chat? And they were like, oh, I don't really use Facebook. And I was like, what do you use? Oh, they was like, oh, I use Instagram. I was like, what?
Well, that's hard.
I mean, I also use Instagram, but I feel like Facebook is the most appropriate. I don't know. Maybe it's times are changing again.
Yeah.
Pretty fast. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you look at everything else that's come out now, like TikTok and things like that.
Yeah.
There's just so many platforms, so many different social media forums to try and keep across. So older people like us try to navigate.
And you talk to the same people on every platform.
Yeah.
And it's different topics. So yeah.
Yeah. So you said you got into anime, K-dramas, things like that. Was that to try and be a bit more Asian? Because I know for me, I kind of discovered some of it when I was probably older, so out of school, maybe grade 11, 12, but then out of school, because I didn't have any of that Asianness to me when I was growing up. So I thought, all right, well, let me start watching like Taiwanese dramas or something, and I'll be a bit more Asian.
Yeah.
Can you relate to that at all?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like part of the reason why I started watching anime was the first one. So I guess starting watching anime was I saw my sister do it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, my sister can speak a little bit more Chinese. So I just followed her in her path.
Were you watching it like in English or was it?
Hell, not never anime, never in dubbed. Always sub.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, you know, funny. I've been dating my boyfriend for over a year now. He forgot I was Chinese and thought I was Vietnamese yesterday.
What take us through the scenario?
He was really bored as well. He took my phone. I was just trying to do my assignments on my computer, and he was like, "Oh, let me learn some Vietnamese," because he speaks Vietnamese to his mom, but it's not something that he's very, very fluent in. So he was like, he started learning Vietnamese, and then in the car, he was like asking me all these questions, and he was like, "How do you not know?" And I'm like, "I'm Chinese, bro."
I think it's an advantage to both of you guys, like to learn Chinese, because in the Philippines, there are a lot of kids, like, daughters and sons of rich people, like they want their kids to learn Chinese, and they're not even Chinese, like they're pure Filipino, but they want their kids to learn Chinese because they believe that it's gonna be like a first language someday for everyone, like it's gonna beat English, so that's their belief. So I think, yeah.
Probably right.
I would love to learn Chinese as well, like especially if you're in the business side of things.
Exactly.
It's very advantageous. Yeah.
Yeah, even with OPM, I wish I could speak Chinese because a lot of the people that buy booths are international.
Yeah.
So I haven't really tapped into that demographic because I can't speak Chinese. So I wish it was a good skill.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna try to learn it with my kids.
Oh,
At
really?
least we'll be on the same playing field.
Yeah.
Is it Mandarin or
Yeah. So then you're talking about how you wanted to kind of be a bit more Asian, preserve the culture somewhat. Is that important to you? So one day, you're dating a Vietnamese guy at the moment. Is it important for you that if you do have children one day, obviously I'm not saying with him or anything, but that you do give them some sort of like a cultural upbringing and they're not just like raised as white Australian kids.
Yeah, for sure. I would like my kids to be more Asian, if anything, or more Asian than me at least.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like the culture is a lot more respectful when it comes down to that. There's a lot more depth in it as well, like especially with the cuisine. So I would like them to explore their Asian heritage.
So then about your Asianness now, so do you, like you said, you like anime, you liked things like that. Do you tend to enjoy like bubble tea and desserts and things like that?
Yes, I do. I love my desserts. Actually, I started baking when I was really young, and in high school, I tried to sell cookies at school.
Okay, how'd that go for you?
I made money. That was good.
That was good. Yeah.
What sort of stuff were you just like decorated cookies or what was your go-to?
I had the classic chocolate chip cookies and then dark chocolate, milk chocolate, and mixed it all together. I made sugar cookies. I made brownies. I just kind of started with that. I tried selling drinks at school, but it didn't really work because I had to carry it around.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, we had a guy in high school who would sell chocolate. So he'd have like Freddos. Not Freddos. Yeah, Freddos.
Yeah,
And he would just have it in his lunchbox and he would sell for like $4. And because the tuck shop at the time, there's a big crackdown on like the tuck shops had to be quite healthy. So this guy was absolutely cleaning up.
$4 for
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And people would still pay for it.
really. I tried selling chocolate too, actually, but our school does this charity thing where you sell chocolate and it's only for $1, and people would rather buy that one than just giving the money to me. So that kind of made sense. I had competition in school.
And then why did you start the biscuits thing? Was it because you liked baking or because you thought there'd be some money to be made?
I think a little bit of both. I wanted to make money and I was like, oh, how can I make money? And just try baking. I didn't have to pay for the ingredients either because they would just be in my pantry. So I think that was a good method at the time.
Oh, yeah.
I did have to stay up till like 3 a.m. some mornings just to decorate cookies, but we're here now.
Do you still do it now? Do you still bake?
Nah, my sister is more of a baker now, but I actually bought a bubble tea sealer machine from my old job.
Interesting.
Yeah, so as you were talking about before, like if I like bubble tea, I like bubble tea.
So you went so far as to buy the sealer. What's the plans there? Is that just for home consumption or, again, trying to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I think I've my whole life has trying to be the entrepreneur. I don't know if I can say I've gotten very far, but I have made a lot of starts. Well, I'm going to use the bubble tea machine at my birthday, if anything. That's going to be the trial run.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
And how much does one of those cost? Just for the people who spend all their savings on bubble teas.
I think it was $605.
Yeah.
I bought it from my old boss at Kumo Kumo. Yeah, he had a spare one. And I was just like casually asking him, how much does one of them cost? And he was like, I got it from China, so it was pretty cheap. I was like, okay, can I buy it? And he was like, yeah, okay.
I don't know if any of you guys saw the current episode that's running with Marissa. And she actually drank 12 bubble teas in one day.
Oh, that's what it's about. I was thinking, what 12? What's this 12 thing?
I had a lot of questions on that.
Wait, voluntarily?
12
bubble teas in one day.
Like, she actually went and bought...
So what happened was it was buy one, get one free.
Oh, okay.
So she went in just wanting one. And then they said the most you can get is 6, so 12.
12.
So she's like, all right, I'll take 12. And then proceeded to drink them all in the rest of that day.
Wait, by herself? Wait,
She finished everything.
Apparently.
Oh my gosh. I can't even finish one. Like, I'm not into bubble tea, so I'd go for fruit teas.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was
strawberry green tea, lemon Yakult, those things.
It was a mix of flavors, so it wasn't just straight pearls.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone can do that. So what's your record in a day?
Oh, I don't know if I have like a good record. I think maybe that just brings me back to the time where I had to do I was in tech crew in high school, and we did one of our musicals at Chanel Theatre in UQ,
Yep.
and they have a cha time right there. So every day that we were there, which was 7 days, I bought a cha time. So just 7 days
So
in a
you're more
row.
a consistent drinker than a binge drinker.
Yeah.
I like how you're so entrepreneurial, which leads us to, I guess, how we connected, which was through BSA. So how did you get involved in BSA?
I actually had a friend, Albert. He was in BSA before. And I found because I'm not very studious, I was like, oh, I'm at UQ. I might as well make it worth it, right? And I wasn't really going to classes, so I didn't really know that many people in uni at all. So that's when I decided to join BSA. And from there, I joined last year, went through it for a year just as a regular committee member. And this year, I ran for sponsorship director. Just nobody wanted to go for it, and I didn't have to do the presentation, so I found it an easy place to be in.
Okay. So for anyone who doesn't know BSA, can you just quickly explain what the association does?
So BSA stands for Brisbane Asian Student Association.
BASA.
It's there's a,
I know it is BSA.
I was about to say that.
there's a hyphen.
Okay.
Brisbane hyphen Student
Asian.
Association. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It used to be called Borneo Student Association.
What was that acronym?
It's Borneo is like a place,
Oh, is it?
I think,
I don't know.
Yeah.
back in the day. But yeah, I mean, Brisbane Asian Student Association sounds a lot
I knew
better.
it was that. But
Yeah.
so joking about BSA. Okay, cool. And yeah, so then what do they do?
So we basically run events for students. Well, you don't have to be a student, actually. Just anyone. If you're interested, you can come to our events, meet new people, network. It'd be fun in the Asian community. Or you don't even have to be Asian. Just come.
So I remember we were talking off camera a little bit how quite a few years ago, my wife and I were actually in the association. And we used to go to a few things from time to time. So it's cool how it's gone for so long. And you were saying, when did you think it started? It was like 20, 30 years ago or something?
Yeah, like 19 something.
And then I guess they just keep passing on the reins to
Yeah.
new students. Yeah. Being in BSA, why did you want to start it? Was it just to try and meet people, like-minded, similar Asian people?
Yeah, it started off as that. I think I could probably get a lot more being a sponsorship director because I wasn't really doing anything else at the time. Being the entrepreneur that I try to be, I feel like with this role, I could probably learn a lot more. Also, talk to a lot more people in the business world, which is actually something that I've learned a lot throughout this journey, this year specifically.
Mm-hmm. I'd have to ask, BSA, is it open for international students of all ages?
Yeah, everyone.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
Were you part of any of those associations when you went through university the first time?
I don't think so, because I was really focused on my studies, and I think I went out a lot. So I'm more of like the social type as well, even in uni. So yeah, not much of those organizations. But yeah, I was curious because I wanted to get my network bigger, like make it bigger as well. So yeah, good thing you mentioned, like you're open to international students. Mm-hmm.
And I guess you put yourself in the international students' shoes. They come here, they obviously don't know anyone. Maybe they know a couple people. It's a great way for people to just really get their foot in, meet other people, other students, maybe some other people in the same situation.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a great initiative that whoever started it all those years ago. So on your Instagram, you've got Last OP. Like you said, you're promoting for them. How did you get into that?
Basically they were just looking for promoters. I feel like the demographic is pretty big in UQ specifically. I had a friend that was already promoting. He was like, oh, do you want to promote? Like, you know enough people to sell tickets. So it's just connections pretty much.
And have you seen any interesting things? I'm sure at your time there, 3 a.m. when everyone's had a bit too many. Have you seen any funny things along your time?
Yeah. So there was actually this one time. It was a Halloween OPM, and there's a guy that always dresses up in the Pikachu mascot. So as always, there's always fights in the valley.
Yep.
There was this group fighting at the back door, and then you just see Pikachu like distressed.
Try to break it up.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's like the guy's inside the costume, but he's just floating around, just like, guys, don't fight. But he's not actually saying it. But
We need to get that footage.
I'll try and find it. I'll try and find it.
Please send it through. How does it work? Because obviously those events are predominantly for Asians. Obviously you get other races coming too. Have
Yeah.
you seen anything funny because of that? I guess the difference in the races.
More specifically, I don't think in the races specifically, but you do stand out a lot more.
If you're
Yeah.
not Asian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that's like a token and you're like, I'll wear this and I'll be the token white guy? Or do they people just, like you said, a lot of your friends just act Asian?
Oh, I think because we're like friends with them already, that they fit in a lot more. But there's actually some, I guess, really old guys, like they could be dads that come to
Trying to
OPM.
pick up.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing specifically, but I don't want to judge them. Like they're probably living life at the moment, but it is a little odd,
I'll tell you,
Odd.
I
because
must say.
like I said, we were part of BSA when we went through uni and we used to go to a couple of the different events. And the very first one I went to, this is before anything, went in with a couple of my white friends and we're like, why the hell are there so many Asians in this club? We didn't realize like an event was actually going on.
Oh,
So
yeah.
my friends were those guys. They're just the creepy white dudes in the Asian club. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. There's like
Okay.
everyone here is Asian.
Yeah,
So
that is fair enough. That happened a lot when Lost was at Boulevard, actually.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that club, but it's usually always open to just like the general public. And because we started having our event there, people didn't really know what was going on.
yeah.
And they walk in and they're like, wait, why is there so many Asians?
I wonder what it feels like or how it seems to the white community when you're like, this is pretty much an Asian event.
Yeah.
They're like, what the hell's going on? Well, we never said it's an all white event. I don't know, maybe they do, but have you ever spoken to anyone and gotten any like context on that? I suppose it's like all male and female clubs.
Sometimes I also wonder about that, like how they look at such event. Like, is this weird or like, I don't know. Sometimes like in my experience, I just want to add this because sometimes I feel like when, for example, at the Gold Coast, like there are more white people there compared to
100%.
Asians, right? So I feel like when I'm there, I don't know. I don't want to feel out of place. They don't make me feel out of place. But at the same time, when they look at you, like, I don't know how to interpret their look sometimes. But yeah.
Well, I'll tell you from a guy's perspective, like just from a guy, unless you're like muscly, tanned, and got tattoos everywhere,
Because
you
I'm
will
tan.
not fit in.
yeah.
Muscly as well. Yeah, no, just going out on the Gold Coast, it's totally different. I don't know. Have you gone out much on the Gold Coast?
Not on Gold Coast.
It's
Yeah.
very different.
It is way different. Firstly, there's way less Asian people,
Yes.
and just like I said, as a guy, unless you're muscly and tanned and tatted up, you will feel out of place. And then add in being Asian, and yeah. So I think you're right.
Yeah.
I did notice that.
I don't feel discriminated, but I do feel like they're looking at you like, why are you
Why are you
here?
here?"
What brought you here? Probably.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Next time you get a chance, then ask one of your white friends how they feel when they go to the Asian specific events. I'd love
Yeah,
to.
true.
I'd love to hear what they have to
Yeah,
say.
me too.
I
I'm
feel like
curious.
I fit in pretty well there. Because Brisbane's so small, especially all the Asians that I know, if they were to go to a club, they would go to OPM.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that you would bump into just on that one night.
Well, you're a promoter, so you must know a few people.
Yeah, you must know.
Oh, well, if you go a lot, you'd see the same people every now and then.
And then what for you? So you said again you're about to graduate. What's the plans now from here? Where do you see yourself in the next sort of 5-10 years Have you not thought that far?
I think about that every day, man. I have no idea. Obviously the goal is to make money. That's something that comes to mind first, because if you make money, you can do everything else pretty much. Which is why, as I was saying to you before, I never really had the thought of going into corporate, but now it's looking kind of where it's at.
Yeah, as opposed to trying to work for yourself. Because like you said, you have all these little side hustles that you're working on.
Yeah.
So it looks like you're going to go corporate.
I think, it is kind of hard. I feel like it's because I've been trying for so long. Not that I don't think I've ever been too desperate to really ride with one idea, which is maybe why not many have been as successful as I would like to say they are. But just for the sake of stability, I guess, getting a job in that kind of area, put my uni to use, and then maybe try to do something later.
Oh, in terms of like choosing a career or like going to like the corporate path, does your parents intervene? Do they intervene in like your career choice?
Nah, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think they know when I'm graduating or anything.
Oh.
They're just like, "Oh, are you still in uni?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, okay, good."
I know you don't know it any other way, but do you ever wish or think that you were closer with your parents? Because it does sound like obviously they trust you, so they've let you go on your path, haven't really intervened too much. Do you ever feel like you wish you had a bit of a closer relationship with them?
I think in some spare moments, it would always kind of be inherent. There's like, oh, they're your parents. They brought you up for so long. They've sacrificed so much even. Like, I do understand that from their perspective as well. And I think it's chill where I'm at now. But kind of just looking at my sister, she's actually a lot closer to them. So I let her do all the talking. I'm not really active to try and be closer. I don't know if I wish I were. I mean, I guess it would be nice, but.
So who have you been able to lean on then, if you haven't been able to sort of confide in your parents?
I think just friends, pretty much.
Yeah, it's totally different, because I think like a lot of people we've spoken to, it's, yep, mum and dad wanted me to do certain things and I did it. So it's different to hear your perspective, which is interesting.
You know, made me think as well, like that silence. I was thinking, oh, how would it feel to be, in your position? Like, okay, like they don't really ask. I'm not so sure how I will take it, but yeah, interesting, because you seem like a very chill person as well. I think that's the effect on you, and you seem like you're getting things done, like even if like they don't ask you questions. So that's really great. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just more of that two-sided relationship. Even if there is no visible relationship, we both respect each other's space, and just, I mean, I'm not making trouble or anything. So they're like, okay, and I'm like, okay, so.
Yeah, like you said, when you're in high school, you needed money, so you started baking cookies and selling chocolate. So you've just kind of got it done by any way you could.
You found your way, and you're finding your way, so that's good. Yeah.
What kind of people are you into? So does race play any part in it, or is it more just the person?
I think race does play a part in it, as I was saying before. Like, they understand the culture and they're respective of it. Obviously, I think, as Erica was saying before, you just naturally gravitate towards the Asian community. You just have more in common. You're like on the same page a lot more, I feel like.
And then growing up when you were younger, so what did you see for yourself at that age? Were you like, I want to have a family, I want to be like, stay at home mum, that sort of thing? Did you have any thoughts about that when you were younger, or didn't really plan too far?
Actually, think about that sometimes now. I mean, as much as I want to make money, I see those YouTube videos of just like the home wife making Japanese bentos. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
that's so
Looks
peaceful.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Doesn't look too bad to me. Okay. Well, because that question kind of comes up in these short answers, so I guess we'll get a better perspective from that.
In terms of where you see yourself, like 5 to 10 years from now, I think you mentioned it already. Do you see yourself like just exploring the world and or staying here in Brisbane? Like you've always been with the Asians, right? You said, but have it ever crossed your mind to like go outside of Brisbane or go outside of Australia?
Nah, I'm chilling in Brisbane.
Oh,
Like,
okay, yeah.
I know a lot of people from Brisbane, like a lot of my friends actually, they want to move to Melbourne and Sydney,
Mm-hmm.
but I find it way too busy. Like even if Brisbane's small, like you go to, let's say like Market Square, you can always find someone, you know. Maybe on the day off you don't want to see somebody, you know, but in that event, I just feel like Brisbane's a lot more comfortable and safe in a way.
Oh,
So-
okay. That plays a part.
Yeah,
The comfort zone.
yeah.
Have you been able to do much travel so far?
Yeah, my family used to go traveling overseas like every 4 years.
Okay.
Back when I was younger. Nowadays, I pretty much go to maybe Sydney and Melbourne for a rave. If anything, that's the excuse to go.
Yeah.
And with borders opening, yeah, I'm trying to go to Japan as well.
Yeah, because I think once you travel, like Eric was maybe alluding to,
Yeah.
you may want something different, but like you said, you're pretty comfortable with
Yeah,
how it's all tracking at the moment.
I guess like probably when you go to Japan. Because for me, when I travel, like my eyes open up a bit more and I feel like, oh, I want to try this. Oh, I want to try that. That's why I'm here now. Like I've always felt Philippines was my comfort zone. Manila will always be home. And then suddenly, you know what? I want to try. Like I want to try living somewhere that's not comfortable for me and see where it takes me.
Well, Eric is going to just ask a couple of quick questions. So don't think too much about your answers. Kind of just say it, and then we can get some context as to why you've said what you have.
okay.
Alrighty, for the first rapid fire question, who is your biggest role model?
Me? Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, sure.
Love it. I love your answer.
What is it about yourself that you love?
I mean, if anybody, I understand myself the most. Everyone's different. Even if I do look up to someone, they would be in their respective industry. Like, let's say if I were to say, like BTS was my role model. I mean, my life would not be anything similar to theirs. So I guess everybody else around me, there could be aspects that do make my life better, and I could find would be a good mentor. But I think just bringing it all together, me.
No, fair enough.
Refreshing answer. I love it. From someone so young. It's so cool. Yeah. Okay, for the next question, what does a meaningful life look like to you?
I think having responsibility or purpose.
What would purpose mean to you?
I guess making money, being able to live, having that purpose to do something would be the first thing that comes to mind. But I think just doing something that makes me happy.
You think you found your purpose already?
No.
It's fair, you're young. So for the third question, what is your greatest accomplishment?
Honestly, okay, I think being sponsorship director. I don't want to be unhumble, but I have learned a lot of things from it. I feel like it has progressed my potential career, at least in some kind of way, but also in social aspects as well.
Okay.
And was it something that you kind of just stumbled into, or you saw it, you're like, I reckon I could do that?
Yeah, pretty much. The opportunity was there. There was no one else to compete with.
Your dream job.
To work for myself, I guess. I don't have a specific job. Yeah.
Have time on your hands.
Yeah, I have a lot of time.
Money and time. All right.
Ideally then, so what would it be in, like, would it be like having your own restaurant? Have you ever thought roughly about what could be a viable option?
I think some type of online business. The one with passive income. if anything.
Yeah.
Maybe trading, online trading.
Have you tried it at all?
Yes, I have.
How'd they go for you?
No.
Not good.
When though? It depends. Like obviously the market's horrible for the last 2 years.
Yeah, no, I feel like I'm always one of those people that jump on the trend, and obviously by the time you jump on that trend, it's not a trend anymore.
It's not a trend anymore.
Yeah.
So did you?
Too late.
Were you trying like crypto and stuff?
I did try crypto. I do have ETFs,
Yeah.
EFTs,
Good.
the typical blue chip combank. Yep.
Easy.
Yeah.
That's cool. And what got you into that? Just trying to have that passive income, or was it an interest of yours? So obviously you studying business at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's just the marketing perspective that you can make money from your computer pretty much. You don't have to go anywhere. I mean, it's a skill set that's all in the mind.
Yep.
And I feel like that's really intriguing when you have that kind of skill set so valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And once it's like something that once it's something you mastered, you're good to go.
Well, don't give up on the trading. It takes time. If everyone could do it, they'd all be rich, right?
The last one I did was Shiba Inu. That's not.
Yeah. Definitely not a not a safe investment. I mean, I know so many people who bought into it as well. So
Yeah.
Anyway, another one will come.
Yeah, I
We're
should
in
probably
that
take my
crazy
money.
time at the moment, so something else will come along.
Yeah. Okay. So how would others describe you?
Open-minded. How would you guys describe me?
In a professional way. How do you think you're like in the professional setting? How would they describe you? How do you think would they describe you?
I don't think I'm professional at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I learned a lot in sponsorship, writing emails. I'm so tempted to add like an emoji at the end. It's so bad. I had to fix my English.
Just use ChatGPT.
I do.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, because a lot of my colleagues use it,
It
and
helps.
I'm in professional services.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see where that all leads for the future. I think for marketing, not as impacted, but a lot of the writing, like your legal, those sorts of jobs, I think it's going to...
Yeah. It used to be really like, well, in the Philippines, it's like taboo if you put a smiley at the end, especially in a corporate setting. Like, but if you've known that client for so long already, I feel like, a smiley. Can you chill? Like, can I put a smiley? We're friends already.
Yeah. I feel like it is kind of bad just going into that mindset of like, oh yeah, I can add a smiley face to the end of this. And you're talking to like some lawyer firm. It's like, no, you can't do that. But I find that once you email them and then let's say you want to talk further with them, like on a phone call or something, you text message them, it's so much more chill. Like you take out the format, you take out the commas, the punctuation.
Yeah.
Like like nowadays, the people that I'm talking to at least, I find that they're just like me. They're just like in another job pretty much. And that job doesn't necessarily represent how they would communicate. I mean, if they didn't need to communicate that kind of way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So just back to that question then. So how would others describe you? So how would your friends describe you? So you said open-minded. It's got to be more.
Giving.
Yep.
Interesting.
If someone stole food to feed their starving family, would you consider them a bad person?
No. Wait, is there any consequence for me?
No, you're just judging them.
Oh, no. Do what you will.
Did we ask you this question?
No, you didn't.
What would you say? I guess you need context, right? But let's just say a starving person stole from your parents' bakery.
I also wouldn't consider them bad. I guess, yeah. Survival. Yeah. You just have to survive and people will do anything and everything to survive.
What if someone at State High stole your whole cookie batch?
Someone actually did.
Oh, there we go.
There you
Did
go.
you think they were a bad person?
Well, I don't know who stole it because everyone stole it. Like, there was this kid that just took the whole box and then he walked away from me and
Oh, jeez.
gave it to his group. And I was like, wait, you got to pay for that. And he was like, oh shit, my bad. But he just handed me a $20 note and it was a lot more than 20. So I was like, damn, okay.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a loss.
Yeah, I can't really blame anyone. Just, oh well.
What do you do to relax?
I tried playing Valorant
Oh,
recently.
Valorant.
because I built a PC. So I try.
I have no idea what Valorant is.
I've always wanted to try that because of my younger cousins. Like, they're all into it. Like, every time they're together, let's G. It's like, what's let's G? Valorant, Valo. And they call it Valo. It's like, oh, okay. And they're so into it. Like, they enjoy it so much. Sometimes I just want that too. Like, oh, I want to relax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of game is it?
It's a shooting game.
Okay. And that kind of just takes your mind off things and gives you a break.
Yeah, pretty much.
You playing anything else at the moment?
Osu? Do you know Osu?
Nope. No idea.
It's like the classic Asian music game.
Is it like timed?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I'm pretty sure I've seen it.
yeah, you've probably seen it. It's mainly on the PC, but you just like click the dots and then sliders, whatever. And you listen to music.
Describe your perfect day. Who is it with? And take us through the morning, afternoon, and evening. Like the whole day.
Do I have to be with that person the whole day?
No.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, currently right now, I'm waking up pretty late. So
What are we talking?
I woke up at 1 today, p.m.,
What time did
Wow.
you sleep?
3 a.m.
Was it because you're playing Valorant?
No, I tried doing my assignment, but my it
Did
was
you
actually
literally woke up before you came here? Like,
yeah.
just before? Did you set an alarm at least?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to wake up at 9 a.m., but I turned the alarm off and I set it for another half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I turned that one off and it's just a toxic cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snooze.
Yeah. No,
That's
but
me.
the reason why I had such a bad sleep is because my boyfriend freaking took the blanket. He didn't even take the whole blanket. He was cuddling one side and then the other side of the blanket was falling off the bed.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Bastard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That's my
you usually wake up late. So would you, in your perfect day, what time
Oh,
would you wake up?
Oh, true. Perfect day. I wish I would wake up at like 8 a.m. Get the day started when the sun rises. I'm trying to get into gym, so maybe I'll go to the gym, eat something, go home, shower, chill for a bit, I guess. Yeah, hop on some Valorant. Maybe watch some YouTube. I guess for lunch, I would go for brunch. Brunch, yeah. With a couple of friends, I guess. Catch up. After brunch, hang out at Market Square, bubble tea.
Mm-hmm.
Guess go home, take a nap, and then eat dinner at Market Square again or something.
Super chill.
Yeah.
Super chill day.
Would you go out again at night, or would that be it? You'd have enough.
Oh, it depends on the day. Saturday or Friday. Depends. Oh no, I would only go if there's an OPM actually.
Yeah. So I saw on your Instagram, so OPM, and what was the other one you had? There was it last.
Last year.
Yeah. So it sounds like you go out quite a bit when events are on, or would you say you're like a party person?
I wouldn't. When I usually go to the events, I'm actually not partying. I'm handing out tickets. So,
Oh, okay, so like promoting.
yeah, I gotta wait for people to come. Sometimes they show up at like 1 a.m. and I gotta stay sober so that I can count the tickets, give it to them,
Yeah, right.
meet them outside kind of thing. So I'm not really partying these days. I just kind of go for the work.
Okay. Well, then the last thing then is there anything you want to shout out? So anything you kind of like working on at the moment? Obviously, we spoke about BSA. Anything else you want to promote?
Yeah, I guess BSA, if you're in uni, even if you're not in uni, any culture, you want to come to the events, you're more than welcome to come. Follow us on our socials, Facebook, Instagram. If you need tickets for the next OPM on the 7th, let me know. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thanks again for the time.
Thanks, Dani.
Thank you.
Check her out, Dani_yo__o_ on Instagram, and yeah, thanks for letting us learn a little bit more about yourself.
Anytime.
Easy.